to the Coding Arena. I am Bhuvan and today we are going to learn about exceptions in Python. So what are exceptions? Exceptions are runtime errors that distribute the normal flow of a program. They occur due to invalid operations such as division by zero, accessing undefined variables, or invalid type conversions. So how to overcome this? Python provides a robust mechanism to detect and handle such exceptions. So some of the ways are using try except block. The try block contains the code that may raise an exception. Then the except block catches the exception and handles it gracefully. So the syntax for writing this is, in try you put the risky code which you think might raise an exception here, and in the except block mention the type of exception it is going to rise, and you can how to handle if such an error is generated. So let us try to understand this try except block in Python code. So here I am going to create two variables, a equal to int input, enter a number, enter a number, okay, and then b equal to input, enter the number. Okay, it's simple. Okay, uh, okay, and then I'm going to try to divide this both numbers. Let us say enter number 1 and number 2. Okay, let us try to divide this both a by b, a divided by b. Okay, and let us see what happens here. F5. I'm trying to run this program. Okay, so okay, let us see what happens here in this program. I'm trying to run this, and so it has shown me enter a number 1, so I'm going to enter it as 4, and the second number I can give it as 2, and I got the number return value as 4 divided by 2 is 2.0. So what this code didn't raise any error, it doesn't have any syntax issues or anything. So the code is perfect. But what if I say, let me run this again. What if the user enters 4 and the second number as 0? So here we are getting an error, and the remaining part of the code won't be executed. The execution stops here once this zero division error is raised. So it is saying you can't divide this 4, you are trying to divide the number 4 with 0, which is not possible. So here it is showing 0 division error, division by 0. So how to overcome this? How to overcome this error? By using putting this code in the try block. So let me put this whole code in the try block. Try. Okay. Okay, and then in the except block, except block. Okay, zero division error, zero division error. Remember, 0 and Z and D and E are in capital letters. So you need to enter the exact type of error as it is, and then in this exception you are going to say, let us say, trying to divide with 0 is not possible. Okay, This is what you want to say. Instead of stopping the program, it will raise this exception. So let me save this and let me run this program. So now if I enter 4 and 0, instead of the error, it is showing me trying to divide with 0, which is not possible. So this is how try and except once works. And next we have else and finally. So what does else block do? The else block runs only if no exception occurs in the try block. If there is no error occurring, then it will run the else part. If an error occurs, the except block will run, and the finally block always executes even if even if there is a runtime error, if even if there is no runtime error, the finally block will execute. It is very useful for files or releasing the resources. For example, you open a file in the try block, and if you want to, you have to close the file even if there is an error or there is no error. So you can put the close function in the finally block. So let us try to understand with a simple code. So let me go back to the VS Code, sorry, IDLE, and let me say instead of this here I am going to remove this, and here I am going to just put C equal to A divided by B. Okay, if there is no, and then I'm going to print C. Okay, let me just print this over here, and if there is no error, like else, in else block, let us say I'm going to print executed perfectly. Okay, and in the finally block, let us say I'm going to print, okay, this block always get. Okay, so let us try to understand how this works. And if, okay, I'm going to enter a number, let us say 6 for now, and let us now enter 3. Okay, so here without any error this try block got executed, so the else part also executed. So we got the executed perfectly written over here, and finally also got executed. This block always gets executed. And what if there is an error? Let us try that also. Okay, let me save this file and run it again. Okay, I am going to enter the number 6 and 0. So you are trying here, the exception got raised and you are trying to, it will print trying to divide with 0 is not possible, and even the finally block is getting executed. So finally runs even if there is an error or there is no error. So this is how exceptions are handled. Now in some parts you need to raise an exception. For example, use rising exceptions. Use the rise keyword to throw an exception manually. For example, if you are asking your user for age and he enters some negative value, now age cannot be a negative number. So how to handle those kind of situations? You can use the raise function, uh, the raise keyword, and you can raise the required error, such as let us say age equal to int input your age. Okay, and later you, if the entered age is less than 0, okay, then print Then raise this exception and say, let us say value error. It is value error age cannot be negative. Okay. See here. If age is less than 0, raise value error, age cannot be negative. Okay, and I'm going to run this program here. So if I run this, and I'm going to enter, let us say -4. So what does it do? It will say, it will, you see, it is raising an error. If the age is negative, it is saying value error, age cannot be negative, whatever you mention over here. So if the, and another thing, you can say else, right? So let us see how this works. And let us say I entered my correct age positive, so it will say your age is 5. If I run this again, okay, let me run this again, and if I enter some negative value, I'll get the error. So these are different kinds of exceptions, how to handle exceptions in Python and how to raise exceptions in Python. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, share and subscribe to the Coding Arena.